Hello everyone, I'm Teacher Winnie. Today we will cover on Physics SPM Trial 2022 for Kedah Paper 2. Okay, first question is under Form 4 topic, which is gravitation on Kepler's law. So diagram 1 shows a planet revolve the sun. The time taken for the planets to travel from A to B is equal as from C to D. Okay, state Kepler's second law. So under this Kepler's second law, we will relate the idea of time with the surface area that covered. So this surface area, let's say you calculated A1, and then this area, if you were to calculate also, you'll notice that A1 is equals to A2. And then the statement also tell you that the time taken for them to travel from A to B is same as C to D. Okay, so Kepler's second law basically is about this idea of a line that connects a planet to the sun sweep out equals area in equal time. And due to this idea also, as you can see, the sun is not exactly on the center. That is actually on one of the foci. That means you can locate the sun can be over here or another point over here. Then basically you can draw a ellipse shape up. Okay, so due to this reason, okay, so the speed when they actually travel from A to B, right, and from C to D will be slightly different. We now get the idea of the speed. So as you all know, speed is actually displacement over time. Displacement or velocity. Displacement over time. Okay, so what is the total distance travel from this A to B? Is basically, if you look, they are longer, right? S1 compared to S2. So let's say we want to find out the speed on V1, we will actually get S1 over T, where this T is constant because equal time. So when the distance is longer, the speed also faster. So if they are closer to the sun, they are basically move faster. But if they are away from the sun, they actually move slower. So some general idea that I try to demonstrate this means they are slow. Then when they are nearer to the sun, they are memang fast. Then they're slow. When they are further, they are slowing. But they are closer to the sun, they are faster. Okay, so we see the next part. Complete the following sentences by ticking the correct answer. Shape of the orbits for the planets. They are not in a circular form, but they are in the oval shape like that, right? It's called ellipse. Okay, so therefore your answer, you tick on this. Next, what will happen to the velocity of planet when they are moved apart? This means far from the sun over this point instead of near to the sun. So teacher mentioned already they are slower, right? So you can say decreases. Why longer time is taken to complete one sector of orbit around the sun? That means one sector means apart, right? Questions 2 is on Form 5 topic nuclear physics on this 6.1 radioactive decay. Diagram 2 shows the decay curve of radioactive substance X, and the activity of a radioactive substance X was measured by a Geiger-Müller tube connected to a rate meter. And the half-life of substance X can be determined from the decay curve. So what is the meaning of half-life? So paper 2, they always will have at least 5 to 6 definitions. Okay, so try your best to remember as many definitions as you can. Okay, so half-life means the time taken for the activity of the radioactive substance to become half of the original activity. Okay, like example, 800 to become 400, the activity reduced by half, right? How long does it take? So this is what we call it as half-life. Okay, then based on this decay curve, determine the half-life of radioactive substance. So for part 1, how do you get the answer is you do interpolation. So from 800, half of it is 400. Okay, then you draw the horizontal line and then you draw the vertical line. So you notice the answer is what? 5. Okay, must write the unit as well, which is 5 minutes. Then next, what percentage remain undecayed after 15 minutes? Okay, so what you can do is now you still can use the idea of interpolation to find out what is the number of activity that left after 15 minutes. But then now the other way around lah, from the time 15, then you draw the horizontal line now. So it's basically how much? 100. So they want percentage ma. So you will use 100 divided by original number 800 times 100%. So this is how you get the answer lah. And you're supposed to get 12.5%. Okay, do not round off the answer. Yeah, minimum decimal point we needed when answering paper 2, minimum 2 to 4 decimal point. Then proceed. Give a reason why the reading of the rate meter did not drop to 0 after radioactive substance X was removed. Okay, so what is the reason behind is because there is a background radiation. So this background radiation, it can come from the sun, cosmic ray, or the ceiling, or you have those concrete, or this they will have a very small amount of radiation which are not harmful. So we call this as background radiations. Okay, question 3 is from 5 last chapter quantum physics on this Einstein theory of this photoelectric effect. Diagram 3 shows the maximum kinetic energy EK varies with the frequency F of the electromagnetic rays. On diagram 3, marks X at the value of threshold frequency. So this is kinetic energy versus frequency graph. So generally the X-intercept is referred to the threshold frequency. So that means you just put a cross over here and then you get 1 marks already. Okay, then next one. Explain how electrical energy is produced by solar cell. So solar cell, the working principle that work based on the concept of photoelectric effect lah. This means there will be light rays that strike on the cell, and if the light frequency is higher than the threshold frequency, then there will be electron emitted out. Then what happened to the electron that emitted out? They will basically store in the cell. Okay, when you need energy, then they will convert this energy to the electrical energy and supply to the electrical device lah. Yeah, so this is the way how you write. Daylight photoelectric effects occurs. That means electron emitted out. Then what happened? The electron stored in the solar cell as electrical energy. Now next, calculate the work function. So how do you calculate the work function? Work function is Planck constant times the threshold frequency itself. So this Planck constant is a constant value where you can get this value from the formula list if that did not give you directly in the questions. And the threshold frequency is basically from the graph just now. Now, so here actually showing you 8, but then you must be careful with the one, do they come along with other value or not? See, they put /10 power of 4, right? That means the threshold frequency is not 4 hertz, you know, it's 4 times 10 power of 4 hertz. So to be careful. Similarly, if let's say they want to calculate something that using the kinetic energy, at the end you have to times 10 power negative 19. Also, you need to take into account so be observant a bit on the y-axis and x-axis. Are they only unit or they come with the prefix or other value there? Okay, so since you have this already, and then you have the Planck constant, of course, you can calculate the work function. The Planck constant, the value is 6.63. 6.63 times 10 power of negative 34. And then this one, just now teacher show you one, the threshold frequency. And then when you press calculator, you supposedly get this value. I also try to press, because sometimes answer scheme may not be accurate. Yeah, you see, it's actually negative 29. Okay, so basically, I think there is a slight mistake in the graph for these questions. By right, the frequency is supposed to be kind of big, or 10, 14. Okay, 10 power 14. But then if we are based on what is given in the questions, right? Yeah, then you don't but then change, understand? So since the question give you 10 power of 4 in the graph also, that's why you supposed follow, then you're supposed to get this value lah. So that's why sometimes answer scheme they will also have slight mistake or the questions so it's good if you're not sure all this you can always check with your school teachers. Okay, question 4. Question 4 is from 5 topic on the forces in equilibrium on this first chapter. So we look at the questions. Diagram 4 show a traffic light with mass 20 kg. 20 kg hang with 2 cables between 2 walls. So first, what is mean by forces in equilibrium? Forces in equilibrium, that means the resultant force acting on the system is 0 lah, or you can say F net equals to 0 or like this. Next, draw a triangle of forces on the traffic light. So as you can see, they have a 2 rope or string that they actually consist of this tension lah. So you can label T1, T2. So other than the tension on the rope, right, you will basically have the weight acting on this traffic light, correct? W. So what does it mean by a triangle of forces? That means you try to rearrange all these force without changing their angle and also the direction. Okay, then you make it into a triangle. Okay, so normally since nowadays we can move all this so it's easy for you to capture the idea. So I show you all one triangle that you can form. You move the weight up like this, and then you can shift the tension tool like this. So you actually complete a triangle already. Notice and it's good that you all know the angle located at where as well. So either you calculate by using 90 minus 20, then you have what over here? 70. That means this is also 70, and then this one will be 40. Okay. Or you know that this is Z also you move here, this part is 20, half of it is 20 so 2 combined you still get 40. So it's same idea one. As long as you try to locate one of the angle, then your answer will be more accurate lah. Or you do not want this triangle, you see teacher move back this move back first. I can also say move up this, but I move this side. You will still get the same result lah. Yeah. So there are 2 answers for this. So this is from the answer schema. Notice or not, you need to label T and W and also the direction correctly. The arrowhead, notice. And also the angle. So I already show you how do you get the angles. Therefore, you have all these, then you get 2 marks. Okay, next. If the traffic light is in equilibrium, or sometimes they didn't use the term equilibrium, they will just say, the traffic light is hanging there. So you also need to have the idea whereby any object that is hanging, they are at rest, not moving. Okay, so part 1, what is the weight of the traffic light? Okay, so if you remember from the question just now, diagram 4 show traffic light with mass 20 kilogram. So to find the weight, you are using a normal formula for weight only. W equals to M G. And therefore, you can calculate out the weight lah. Okay, then part 2, they want you to find the tension of each string. So to calculate the tension, this type of questions, they have a lot of way and method for you to calculate lah. You can actually use back a drawing way like this one, but then you draw accordingly to the scale. Like you calculate the weight just now, which is how much? 196.2. So you give a proper scale like 1 cm is 100 Newton. So it's about 2 cm, right? You draw this and then you use protractor, measure all this angle. Then you draw, extend, then you can have intersection point. So you complete a triangle, right? Then you measure this length and then you find back the scale of 100 Newton. Then you get the answer for tension. But if you not prefer drawing, you do not have protractor, all this, then you can choose to do calculation. So for calculation, I will use the resolution methods because you also learn resolutions of forces in 1.2, right? So how you solve is basically this force with an angle. You can resolve it into 2 components. We call them as what component? X component and Y component. Fx, Fy. And a simple idea, I always tell students, you look at this angle touching the horizontal component, right? Then this component is actually cos. So you will have T cos 20. Then the one not touching automatically is sine, T sine 20. You can rearrange into a right angle triangle and get the relationship through trigonometry. But the easiest way is you use this because you always resolve a force with an angle. Then you memang will either have sine or cos on one of the component. Yeah. Then this is still another Fy, so it's still T sine 20. Then you also have the weight of this traffic light. So for this context, we only look at the vertical component. That means we only focus on this part. So if teacher wants you to tell me what is the relationship between the upper force and the downward force, so their relationship by right is supposed to be equal, because when you add up, there should be zero net force at rest. So general equation is basically 2Fy equals to what? Weight lah. Then of course you sub accordingly. Okay, so your Fy is T sine 20 lor. So you will have 2T sine 20 equals to W, like teacher say, the relationship. And then 2T sine 20 is 196.2 lah, and T equals to 98.1 divided by 0.3420, and you get 2x6.83. Or you can straight away use 196.2 divided by 2 sine 20 lah. Yeah, so it's still the same. Yeah, so this is how you calculate the answer using the equation. Okay, next, if the horizontal angle between the cable and the traffic light increases, what will happen to the cable tension? Okay, so based on just now the equation that teacher showed, right, you have what? 2T sine 20 equals to weight. This one is from the previous questions. So now their context is, they say this angle become more, right? What happens if I increase? Example lah, you can assume I increase 40 or 50, okay, assumption, okay? So you can still use calculation way to predict the idea. We rearrange the formula first. Tension will be equals to weight divided by 2 sine theta, right? Okay, so now the idea is this angle increase already. Okay, so what happened to your tension? Now, you can try to press calculator. Like what is initially sine 20. Then you just change another one with bigger angle lah, double up. Example only, okay? So sine 20 is what? 0.342. Then sine 40 leh? Sine 40 is 0.643. So it's like bigger So that means you will cause this whole thing to become bigger as well when your angle increase. Get the idea? Therefore, your tension will become lower. So the tension is actually lesser lah, or you just say decrease. Yeah, so this is how you predict the answer lah. Okay, question 5 is on comparison questions. So diagram 5A and 5B show two identical containers filled with two liquids of density 1000 kilogram per meter cube and 900 kilogram per meter cube at the same volume. Observe the horizontal distance from the liquid spurted out from each container. Okay, then first part, underline the correct answer. Shape of container, is it affect or does not affect the pressure of liquid? So shape of container generally does not affect the pressure in liquid. So what is the formula for pressure in liquid? Pressure in liquid is H rho G, where this H is the idea of depth, and then this is density of the liquid, and G is acceleration due to gravity or gravitational field strength lah. So these are the three quantities that affect liquid pressure. That means deeper or shallower, they will be different, or the different intensity of the liquid. So what is mean by shape? Not shape, there can be example, you have all this shape. So if you have this container, when I pour water, basically they all will reach at the same level. If they are same level, that means they have same pressure. So that's why they are not affected by the size of the container or the shape. Then next comparison part. So based on diagram 5A and 5B, compare what? Density. So they really give you the reading already ma. So this row is referred to density what? So of course the density of 5A is less than 5B. You can use the sign or you can use sentences. Then the horizontal distance you try to measure lah, this distance. So it seems like 1001 is further, right? This one is shorter. Then the depth, the depth, are they same depth or not? So you can try to put a line across. So basically they are same level, right? So they have same depth. Okay, so this is how you write your answer. Density of liquid in 5A is more than in diagram 5B. Then the horizontal distance of liquid spurt in diagram 5A is more than diagram 5B, or you can use the words or teacher say, or vice versa. That means if you want to say B first, also no problem. Then, like mentioned just now, that is actually same for both diagram. So this is the way how you write it. Then normally after they ask you to compare, they will ask for relationship. So next they ask you to relate the density of liquid with the horizontal distance of liquid spurt. Okay, so you can refer back. So everything in 5A is greater. So that means you can say the density of liquid is greater, and then the horizontal distance is also greater or higher. Or you can use the term directly proportional. So for relationship question, you can use this. And then next, number 5, relate the density of liquid with pressure. So the higher the density, the higher the pressure also, or greater way lah, no problem. Okay, moving on, calculate the pressure of liquid in diagram 5A at the depth of 0.2. So I just now also got mentioned the formula is H rho G. So your depth is how much? 0.2. Okay, and then the density 5A is 1000. Then G is 9.81. Then you press calculator, you will get the answer, which is 1962. Teacher also calculate again, see are they accurate or not. Okay, yes. So if they have decimal point, you must write also. So happen this one, no decimal point lah. Next, state the design of the dam's construction that enable it to withstand the great pressure. So as you all know, the deeper the depth, the higher the pressure. So the general construction of the dam is they're supposed to be thicker at the bottom lah. This wall thicker. Okay. So therefore, you can just explain a thicker dam wall at the bottom, or even sometimes you do not know how to express your answer, but you have the idea, you can draw it out. Then you can also draw lah. Okay, question 6 is still a comparison questions. So diagram 6A and 6B show two circuits consist of identical dry cells in parallel arrangement with different number of dry cells. And each dry cells have the same internal resistance and the voltmeter reading for both circuit when they are switched off. Switch off, that means the circuit is open like this. Okay, you will get 1.5 volt, 1.5 volt. This is what the questions mean. So first, what is mean by electromotive force? So basically, I always say electromotive force is similar like the potential difference idea. It's just this electromotive force is for any power source like battery or power supply or this. So generally is work done by the electrical source to move 1 coulomb of charge in a complete circuit. Is for the complete circuit one. Yeah. So this is the definition. Next, what will happen to voltmeter reading in both circuit when the switch is closed? So just now initially they are open open, then both reading is 1.5, right? So when they close, that means now your battery have to start do work. When they start to do work, generally they will become hot after some time. They release heat on, okay? You touch the battery, become hot, right? So basically they actually do work and they actually encounter internal resistance inside the dry cell. So it will cause the voltmeter reading to drop. So that's why your answer supposedly they will be decreased lah. Then now they want you to compare the electromotive force in both circuits. So just now they also say when it is open, both is also 1.5, 1.5. So this is referred to the electromotive force. So basically they are the same or no change. Then part 2, effective internal resistance. Okay, so they use a small r as the symbol. Okay, because they are arranged in parallel. So if I want to find the effective resistance for this one, then I will have 1 over R equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. Okay, and this one will be 1 over R equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. Yeah, if you were to calculate later on, you need to calculate on the next part. You will, of course, notice since you have this fraction of 1 over, this one will be smaller one. Okay, so hence the internal resistance in 6 point B is smaller or vice versa. Okay, and because their internal resistance is smaller, that's why you see the bulb is brighter. So again, this is the way how you give your answer. So electromotive force for both is the same. And then part 2, the effective internal resistance in 6A is more than 6B. Then the brightness of bulb in both circuit is, this diagram 6A is less than 6B. Okay, then next, normally they will ask regarding the relationship. So for part D, based on answer in 6C, state the relationship between effective internal resistance with brightness of bulb. So like just now, we say that the internal resistance here is lower. So you see it is brighter. So you can give this relationship or this effective internal resistance is higher, but the brightness is dimmer. Then why the bulb is brighter? Of course, because the current is more, right? So again, they want relationship of internal resistance with current. So that's why you can use the term inversely proportional or increase-decrease idea. Okay, so this is how you write. The smaller the effective internal resistance, the larger the brightness of bulb. And then the smaller the effective internal resistance, the larger the current flow. Okay, so for calculation part, so the internal resistance of each drive cell is 0.5 ohm. Calculate the effective internal resistance of each circuit. So for this one, teacher already mentioned, when you want to calculate, the formula that you use is 1 over R equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. Okay, so you just sub accordingly, rearrange, plus, and then you get the final answer. Same go for 6B is 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3. So here is the final answer lah. Okay, so like I mentioned, if you have 3 battery which in a parallel, the total effective resistance is smaller. So you compare, you see this one is 0.167 ohm, but this one is 0.25 ohm. Okay, so obviously, when they are more in parallel, if it is in series, then it's different again. Okay, moving on, question 7. Diagram 7A shows the pressure of Mr. Fasley car tire in the early morning before departure to Ipoh, and the initial temperature of the tire is 20 degrees Celsius. And then diagram 7B shows the pressure of his car tire after arriving in Ipoh. Okay, so based on diagram, state the gas law involved. So every time that we do the question involving gas law, teacher will show you all this triangle, PVT, okay, and the 3 respective side is referred to the law itself which is Guru Bahasa Cina, where G stands for Gay-Lussac law, B is Boyle's law, C is Charles' law. Okay, now these contexts they actually involve pressure no doubt yeah, because your pressure changes but how come the pressure changes? So after a certain journey when you travel to some place, what happened to the temperature? The temperature also will increase, agree? Yeah, so it's actually involving the context for temperature. So this law is what law? Gay-Lussac's law, Gay-Lussac's law. Then next, okay. Based on kinetic theory of gases, why the pressure of air in the tire increases when temperature increases? So when the temperature increases, which means the molecules that will actually collide with the wall of the container, like in this case, the wall of the tire, right, more frequently. So therefore, the pressure increases. So this is how you say the rate of collision between air molecule and the wall of the tire increases. Then next, based on 7b, calculate the temperature of the tire after arriving at Ipoh. So like just now, teacher show you this, why this triangle is so useful, because you can also straight away get the formula from here. So we are doing this Gay-Lussac law. So we are having this PT. So if you notice it's up and down, that means there are division. So your formula that you apply is actually P1 over T1 equals to P2 over T2I here. Okay, so no doubt this one is P1, this one is P2. Then in terms of temperatures, right? So when you apply whether it is Gay-Lussac law or even there are Charles law, right? The temperature here is referred to absolute temperature. It is absolute temperature, that means they are in what unit? They are in Kelvin. Okay, so when you use this formula, you have to change the degrees Celsius into Kelvin. So how do you change degrees Celsius into Kelvin? You plus 273, then you have your answer in terms of Kelvin. Yeah. Also, this T is in terms of Kelvin. So now how do you do is, because you want to calculate the T2, you can rearrange the formula first. T2 is basically normally how you rearrange it, because this bottom right, so it's like you swap and bring down, this one bring up, so hence you will have T2 equals to P2 times what? T1 over P2. Okay, now depending you want your unit to be in Kelvin or degrees Celsius, but T is in term of Kelvin so that's why when you sub your P2 is 230 kilo. Kilo is 1000 so you times 1000. Okay, then P2 is how much? 220,000 also. Then temperature one is 20 plus 273. So your answer, of course, is in Kelvin scale. But then if you want to change back to degrees Celsius, you just need to minus 273 lah. But you can leave your answer in SI unit, so doesn't matter. Yeah. So at the end, you by right should get 306.32 Kelvin. So if you want to change to degrees Celsius, then you minus 273 lah. And you will get 33.32 degrees Celsius lah. Let's see, is the answer correct? Okay, yeah, so this is how you get the answer lah. Okay, then next part is similar like essay questions. You are giving a table and then you choose which one is the best model. Of course, less choice compared to the one in essay. So as promoter, you are required to recommend a pressure cooker that is safe and able to cook quickly based on this table 7, right? Okay, so they want you to talk in terms of what? The size of the release valve, the sealing ring, and which is the best one. So in terms of the release valve, okay, sealer ring, should it with or without? It must be your with. Okay, because you want to avoid the pressure being escaped during when you cook the food lah. But in terms of the release valve idea is kind of a bit hard to identify. I think maybe it's the size. Is you look at the diagram, this one seems smaller, right? This one seems bigger. So you want to release more gas after you cook, yes, or faster. So the size of relief valve should be big lah. So it seems like you should choose yeah, so let's see the choice. So the release valve have to be big. What is the reason? Decrease the time to release the pressure lah. Okay, or you can release the gas pressure faster. Then with sealing ring, prevent the pressure leakage. Therefore, you choose R. So this is how you give the answer for question 7. Okay, now we have questions 8. So question 8 show that diagram 8 show water wave move towards the shore. What is the meaning of diffraction? So diffraction is basically what? The spreading out of wave. The spreading out of wave after passing through a gap or around an obstacle. So explain what happened to the amplitude of wave after passing through the retaining wall. So when there pass through a gap. So generally the wave will what? Spread. So when they spread, they become circular. Or if they ask you to draw, make sure you still draw and the wavelength is still the same. The lambda 1 and lambda 2 must be same lah. Okay, so when the wave spread, what happened to the energy level? The energy level will reduce. That's why if you were to park the boat inside, they will be safer lah. Now, since the energy level reduces, that's why amplitude also will decreases. So how do you explain in terms of amplitude? First, you say decreases. Why? The wave energy spread out. The wave energy spread out. Then next, based on your knowledge of wave phenomena, suggest a suitable retaining wall design to protect the new harbor. And your suggestion should be based on the following aspect: height of the retaining wall, reason. So should your height be high or low? Okay, it should be higher lah, so that you can prevent the high wave or can withstand high wave. Then next, the surface of the retaining wall, should it be smooth or rough? So it should be rough, or uneven. Reason, wave energy reduce. Then the width of the retaining wall gap, you have big gap or small gap better? You should have small gap because a better diffraction. Diffraction is more obvious. And then therefore energy will be decreases as well lah. Yeah, so this is the acceptable answer that you can give. Okay, so hence we basically done with the section A. Okay, so for section B essay questions, the first one is under Form 4, light topic on this image formation for the curved mirror. So diagram 9.1 show an image of car on a safety mirror at a road corner. What is the characteristic of the car image? Of course, you need to know what type of mirror is this. So this mirror is basically convex mirror. So for convex mirror, their characteristic of image always similar, which is always virtual, upright, and diminished wood. So you can give any of these characteristic and then you will get 1 mark. So your answer will be either virtual, upright, or diminished. Okay, so explain how does the safety mirror work. Okay, so first you explain this mirror is basically a convex mirror. Okay, and then where you place this mirror, you place at the corner of the road. So the purpose is to widen the field of vision, or larger field of vision is generated, and then this causes the shield object, the one that opposite oncoming object that you can't see, okay, to be able to be observed. Now, of course, sometimes the term that you use will be slightly different, but then you have the similar meaning, then it will means acceptable. But yeah, so that's why first you have to tell what type of mirror is that first. Okay, then move on. Diagram 9.2 show an object O placed in front of a convex mirror. Distance between the center of curvature C and pole of mirror is x cm. So what is the focal length of the mirror? So basically the focal length or the focus point is actually in between C and P. This F is midpoint, midpoint. And then focal length is from where? From here to here. So therefore, since they tell you this whole distance is x cm, therefore you can just use x divided by 2 lah. Then you get 4 cm. Then you label, so they want you to label, okay? So you just put a point, then you put F lah. Dash also can. Yeah, so this is how you get the answer. Okay, next, on diagram 9.2, draw the ray diagram to determine the image form. So for a ray diagram, teacher always wants student to really pause and think first. Is this mirror? Is this lens? And then what mirror? What lens? So the ray should be converged, diverged. So now this is convex mirror. So it is mirror, then your brain should get this idea. Reflection occurs. The ray will bounce after that. So convex mirror, because they widen the field of vision, so they are outwards one. So outward means the ray will die. But so all this is key idea, so that you won't mix up with a lens or a concave mirror. Yeah, so how does you construct the ray? First, any ray that parallel to the principal axis they will bounce, they will bounce and diverge. Okay, so in this context, indeed, you need to have your focus point. Memang you measure and then make it at the middle point lah. So this is virtual focus point. So you draw like that. And because it's virtual, that's mean by right, this part should be dotted. All means they are not the actual ray. The actual ray is what? They strike the surface and then they bounce. Then move on, you're going to have the ray that going to cut the center of curvature. You are using the virtual focus point. That's why the C that you use also the left-hand side one. Okay, so you're going to strike and then that bounce back. Okay, so you have intersection point between the two rays. Yes, where is it? Here. So this is your image. Okay, so this is how you construct. So the ray, then the image. Now again, is the arrow necessary or not? If you know better, you put, okay, because when schema change, sometimes they are strict, then they need all these to be shown. Okay, whatever teacher show is the correct way. Okay, unless you really super blur, not sure. So when you construct the ray, you still need to draw everything clear. Don't do everything dotted. Okay, but then what I show you is the correct one. Okay, move on. The safety mirror are often placed at sharp corner of the road to help road user. You are required to study the characteristic of the mirror in Table 9 for that use. Okay, explain the suitability of each characteristic and determine the most suitable mirror and give reason of your choice. Okay, so the safety mirror, as you can see, the previous question, you already got some idea. Those type of mirror should be what mirror? Convex mirror. Okay, because if you were to have concave mirror will have 6 different characteristics, of the image former when they are at different position, where we always have this boom, boom, rim, raise, read idea. Yeah, so that's why it is not a proper lah, because the image can be inverted one more. Right, we want to see the oncoming car from the other side So tiba-tiba you see something terbalik, you also pening, okay? So we memang won't use concave mirror one. And concave mirror at different object distance, they will have specific usage also. Okay, then normally those mirror will place on the highest point, right? Easy to see Okay, and it's bigger, better lah. Okay, and what else? Should the curvature bigger? Yes. So now that's why you already have your choice. The moment you know your choice, you know the format of how you do the essay, then you will get full marks. So you need to construct a table. Then this is the way how you write. Those mirror that we use is convex. Why? Widen the field of vision. High position, no blockade by obstacle. And then big size can collect more light and brighter image form. Higher curvature, wider view of area. And lastly, we say what choice, which is J. J is chosen as it is convex mirror, high position, big size, and higher curvature. So this is the essay for questions 9. Okay, question 10 is still under section B essay. You can choose either question 9 or question 10. So diagram 10.1 shows a circuit diagram for testing the conductivity of a diode. When the switch is turned on, the bulb lights up. State the type of diode connection that caused the bulb to light up. Yeah, so basically there are 2 ways of how you connect this diode. So for general concept, this diode is made by 2 type of semiconductor where we name it as N-type and P-type. Okay, so normally they will draw the shape something like that. So N-type is whereby they have excess of electron, but this P-type is excess of what we call as hole. So when you combine these 2 semiconductor, you will form a PN junction. And when this electron try to flow, they will form a depletion region. Over here, we call it as what? Depletion region. Okay, so if you want this electron to move and cross over, right, you need to have the connection where you have a positive terminal on the left-hand side. So you can drag the electron and then the circuit will be complete lah. Yeah, so if your P is connected to positive terminal, N is negative terminal, okay, then this connection is called forward bias. Forward bias, forward bar. Yes. So therefore, your answer for the first one is forward bias. If it's vice versa, then it's called reverse bias. Okay, so therefore, how does it work? So I continue by using the diagram that I draw. I drag this one. Okay, we get the idea first. So the idea behind is when this electron can move across this depletion region, right? It will cause this region getting thinner. If they're getting thinner, that means the resistance is considered lower, then they allow current to flow lah. So this is how the diode work. But you can also connect the diode in a reverse bias where you can actually interchange the terminal of battery, or okay, I use another color to see the difference. So when you do that, P to N type, P to negative, N type to positive terminal, right? Then it become what? Reverse bias. So when they become reverse bias, that means the electron will drag this way, right? Because your positive terminal now is right hand side, but the hole will be in the other way around. Then you will cause this region, right, getting wider. So when it become wider, that means the resistance become high. Then what happens? No current will flow. So that's why the general function of diode is to allow current to flow in one direction. But then in this context, memang you are P type to positive terminal, N type to negative terminal, which is forward bias lah. So this is how you give the point 4 marks, how it work or why it can light up. So when P type is connected to the positive terminal and N type connected to negative terminal of the dry cell, or you can say when the diode is in a forward bias, can. Then the electron on the N type, they will move through the junction to the terminal positive. Then causing what? Depletion region become thinner. Resistance become small. Then current will flow. So basically there are 5 points are considered. So maximum 4 marks. Okay, C. You are assigned to study the design and characteristic of tube for cathode ray productions in table 10. Explain the suitability of each features of the tube and determine the most suitable cathode ray tube to produce a high velocity electron beams, and give your choice, reason for your choice. Okay, so let's see what is so different among all this PQRS. So the first one should be the filament, right? You have coil filament, you have straight filament. So this is one criteria. Then next criteria is what? On this EHT, this one. Second criteria, should it be high or low? Then third criteria will be, you see, the switch is open or closed. So this is the third criteria. And lastly, the fourth one will be, okay, this, you see, got gas and vacuum. So this is fourth criteria. So, straight filament or coil filament better? You want to produce more electron or less electron? Want to have more, right? So the filament in coil shape will have bigger surface area, so you have more electron to be emitted. So that's why coil is the best one. That means you don't need to see R and S already, because both is straight. Okay, then next, should you use high voltage or low voltage? Higher better, then you can accelerate more electrons. What means the electron can move at even higher speed. Okay, so it seems like you have your choice already, which is Q. And there's supposed to be vacuum, and you should close the switch. If not, you didn't close, that means you are not applying the EHT as well. So it's closed. So same thing, you need to construct a table, and then you need to state now why you should choose coil, why it should be vacuum, why the EHT should be high, why you should close the switch, and then therefore you say I choose Q. The moment you say like that, you already get 6 out of 10 without giving the reason yet. Now, coil filament, like teachers say, you increase the thermionic emission, or increase the length or bigger cross-sectional area, or there are more electron emitted. Then next, you should on the EHT so that the electron can accelerate to anode. Then the EHT should be high. We don't write the number, we just describe high, low like that to increase the strength of electric field. And the tube should be vacuum. Why? No collision between electrons and the air molecules. So lastly, you say Q is chosen as it has coil filament, EHT switch is on, and then high EHT, and it is vacuum. So this is how you give the answer. Okay, then part D is a 5 marks calculation questions. In a cathode ray tube, electrons are produced when the filament is heated. And the potential difference between the filament and the anode is 5 kilovolts. When electron flow in cathode ray tube, the current flowing in 5 seconds is 0.01 ampere. First, calculate the number of charge on electrons. So it's N. Okay, the formula that link with this charge, the general one is the formula of current, rate of flow of charge, Q equals to I T. And then another formula is 1 coulomb of charge means a lot of electrons, number of electrons. And our context is to find N. So for part 1, you can use NE equals to IT. Then N equals to IT divided by the charge for 1 electron. So you have E, you have I, you have time, and now you can calculate for this part 1. Then for part 2, they want you to calculate the kinetic energy. So in this statement, they didn't give you the speed of the electron, but you should have the idea of what causes the electron to accelerate is the EHT, right? The high tension power. So therefore, you can have this electrical potential energy have been converted to kinetic energy. So electrical potential energy, the formula is EV. So you can calculate the energy as EV, the charge for electrons, and the voltage is the 5000 volt one. Then you sub, you can get this. Then lastly, the velocity of electron reaching in the fluorescence screen. So this is the idea of this also. General formula, electron volt should be equal to half mv square. And this v is referred to the velocity. So that's why the v is slightly curvy a bit different from the voltage. And if you rearrange the formula, you will have this v equals to square root of 2 EV over m. Yeah, so you just sub according everything, then you're supposed to get the correct answer. Okay, so we see the answer again. Teacher will also press out the answer. Part 1, they are not complete. Like teacher say, they want the number of electrons. So N equals to Q over E. So you still need to use 0.05 divided by the charge for 1 electron, 1.6 times 10 power negative 19. Okay, make sure you bracket when you press in the calculator. 0.05 divide bracket 1.6 times exponent negative 19. So you're supposed to have 3.125 times 10 power 17 number of electrons. Oh, okay. I think sorry, you're supposed to calculate until coulomb only. Because the questions not so I mean, they're supposed to ask the charge on the electron will do. They no need to write the number. Total charge in BM is jumlah charge. Yes, so you can stop here. Okay, because this make people misunderstand really. And part 2, like teachers say, the energy is small e times big V. Then you should get 8 times 10 power negative 16 joule, because the unit of energy is joule. And this one, teacher Memang say already, you use V equals to square root of 2 EV over M. And then you already calculate the EV from here. That's why they just put straight over here. And you divide by 9 times 10 power of negative 31. And square root of it, you know. So you can leave your answer in this way. 4.21637, or you can write 4.22, 4.216, because 2 to 4 decimal point ma. So this one macam lebih sikit lah, lebih sikit. Then the unit is meter per second lah, meter per second. Have to write because without unit, then it is considered wrong. Okay, then next we will have a question on section C, compulsory answer. Okay, so diagram 11.1 show a model of a simple transformer built by a student at school laboratory. Okay, based on this diagram, state the type of transformer. So you see you have a less coil here, more coil here. So that means you will step up the voltage. So this called step-up transformer. Now, referring to the diagram, explain the operations principle of a transformer. So as you can see, the input here, the power supply is actually AC current, okay? So what happened is when the current flow, you can say on the primary coil, then what is being produced? The magnetic field is being produced. And then they will linkage to the secondary coil, understand? The field is being cut by secondary coil. Now, because this is alternating current, right? So what happened to this magnetic field is they will actually collapse and become zero back like this. Then they change direction. So that's why when you are applying alternating current, there is a change in the direction of the magnetic field, and also the magnitude become more then less. So the change in the magnetic field causing the cutting in the secondary coil, hence induced EMF. So this the idea of electromagnetic inductions or the main idea under transformer, they apply this concept. Okay, and lastly, current is being induced or the EMF is being induced in the secondary. So this is how you write alternating current flow in primary coil causing change in the magnetic flux, and then the cutting of magnetic flux occurs. I prefer you all to write induced electromotive force is produced, because you should have voltage, then only you have current, and under transformer they are more focused on the term of voltage so we use EMF instead of the terms current Okay, then next, we will always have the 5 marks question on comparison, similar like question 5 and 6. So by using diagram 11.1 and 11.2 and 11.3, first thing they want you to compare what? Compare the number of turns in primary coil, compare the number of turns in secondary coil, output voltage, ratio of number of turns in secondary to number of turns in primary. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's try to get the answer. So the number of turns in primary coil, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also 5. So this first part is same oh wait, sorry, we cannot see this diagram. We see this or else it's a bit confusing yeah. Then next, secondary coil. It changed already the 11.3 is more. Then the output voltage also 11.3 is greater. Then ratio of number of turns. So this one is NS over NP so for this one, your NS is 100 over 10. This one is 200 over 10. So the ratio this one is bigger This is equals 10 or this is 20. So relate the ratio of number of turn to the number of turn to the output voltage. So when the ratio is greater, that means the output voltage is also high. Yeah. Okay. So we go through the answer one more time. So the number of turns in primary coil in diagram 11.2 is equals to diagram 11.3. And then the number of turns in secondary coil in 11.2 is less than 11.3. Output voltage also 11.2 less than 11.3. Then 0.4 ratio of number of turns in secondary coil to the number of turns in primary coil is larger for diagram 11.3 also. So the larger the ratio, the larger the output. Okay, last part under this, diagram 11.1.4 show the national grid network system used to supply electricity for residential area. Using your knowledge in electrical, determine the suitable method for power transmission so the electric supply is efficient. They want to reduce energy loss, means, and then save all. No electrocuted all this. So your suggestion should include the aspect like what? Type of transformer. Number one, material of the cable, the voltage that during transmissions, and the rate of expansion of the cable. So it seems like 4 idea, right? You want 10 marks, that means you must have minimum 5 aspect to modify and then 5 reason. So normally in terms of material, you can actually give more idea on this. Yeah, because material wise, you can explain the characteristic of the material. Okay, so when you transmit electricity, normally they will actually transmit it at higher voltage. Okay, so what is the reason behind it? Why you step up the transformer piece should be step up transformer. Okay, so when you generate your power in the power station, I always tell students, you are using the general formula, P equals to VI. Then during transmit, you will have power loss. Power loss is actually I square R. So you want to reduce the power loss, you must have low resistance material. Also, we are talking in terms of material. Or you have to what? Reduce your current. So if you want to reduce the current, what happened to the voltage? You need to increase. That's why your transmission voltage have to be increases during the whole transmission. The reason to reduce the current, hence reduce power loss. And the rate of expansion of the cable, you can say medium or low, because you do not want the cable to sag a lot, right? Sag a little bit, then okay already. Sag too much, then it will be break all this lah. Okay, so here is the way how you give the answer. So we should use step up transformer. Reason, increase the output voltage or step up the voltage. Then the material of the cable, we want low resistance, correct? So if you were to want low resistance, that means you use copper. If you know the actual material, low resistance, or even you say aluminum is also acceptable lah, because aluminum is cheaper compared to copper, but then copper have a better conductivity lah. Then the material, you see, because you want to reduce resistance, now it should be thicker wire, or low resistance again. Low rate of oxidation of cable, long lasting, will not get rust easily. High transmission voltage, because you want to reduce the current, remember, then reduce the power loss. You can say like that one. Then low rate of expansion, the cable length of cable is constant, or the cable will not sag. Now, of course, here teacher give you all 6 modification and 6 reasons. So, but maximum you have 10. Yeah. So, for these open-ended questions, right, you can give more than 1, or 5 choice. You can give 6, 7, or even more. Okay, so this is how you answer section C essay questions. Okay. So that's it for this paper, and we'll meet again for other state paper. Thank you, class. Bye.